We are told that the speech is going to be different than what we've heard in the past. Trump rewrote the speech after the shooting. It's going to be more unifying. We got more on that from former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy when we spoke a little earlier today. Here's some of that.
I think you're going to see a more uniting speech from President Trump. I mean, I talked to him the day after the assassination attempt, and he would tell me about hearing the bullet. He knows he is very fortunate to still be on this earth right now, and I think he has a more reflective view.
So we got some new polls today. This is from CBS News. And this shows a national race. This is the biggest lead that Donald Trump has ever had at 52-47 over Joe Biden. They also polled the idea of Trump versus Kamala Harris. Not that different. 51-48, basically a margin of error difference. If he was able to get that number in a national election, that would translate to a landslide for the Republican based off of what happens with the battleground states. And that is alarming for Democrats. And there has been a steady drumbeat of Democratic officials privately and now publicly going to Joe Biden and saying it's time to drop out of the race. As we look at some video of him as he recovers from COVID at Rehoboth, Delaware, there's new reporting that some of that pressure campaign may start to be working. Axios reporting from several senators that think that Biden could drop out by the weekend. The New York Times reporting that Biden's starting to come around to the idea of dropping out, asking more questions about how it would work if Kamala Harris was leading the ticket. And there's a lot of energy towards getting Biden to be out sooner rather than later so they can put a lot of maneuvers in place to actually make this possible. But it is quite extraordinary, the contrast between the unity here and the disarray for the Democrats, and that will only be exacerbated in the next few days. So we're looking at a live picture right now. There is Donald Trump. And we see that bandage on his ear from the shooting. And it's remarkable. Every day here, more and more of the delegates come with bandages over their ears as a sort of fashion statement to stand in solidarity with him. We are expected, by the way, to see Melania Trump and Ivanka Trump, both of whom have not been at this convention yet. We're hearing that they may make an appearance later tonight. They're not expected to speak, but we're seeing some of the speeches happening right now. So, Marla and Christine, this shooting really an extraordinary part of this convention all week long and very top of mind for so many people here.
Yeah, let's talk about how it's changed emotions for everybody, especially, of course, former President Donald Trump speaking tonight. Let's go back, Alex, if you can, to the investigation and what we're learning more about the shooter and the Secret Service and local police.
Yeah, and we're getting a timeline now of that shooting. We want to put some of that information up on the screen for you. So this is what law enforcement believes happened. At 5:10 p.m., Crooks, the shooter, was first identified as a potential person of interest. At 5:30 p.m., Crooks was spotted with a rangefinder. At 5:52 p.m., Crooks is spotted on the roof by Secret Service. At 6:02 p.m., Trump takes the stage, and at 6:12 p.m., Crooks fires the first shot. So that's a lot of time between when he was first identified as a person of interest, about an hour's worth of time, and there's going to be a lot of questions that will continue to be asked about why more wasn't done in the meantime.